All right, so are you ready to dive into something that's kind of had people thinking for like forever?
Oh, yeah. Hit me.
Okay, so free will versus destiny.
Hmm.
Do we actually get to like make our own choices, or is it all just a script?
Right.
And to help us figure this out, we're looking at this YouTube video.
Okay.
It's from Be Still and No Tease, and it's called
Wow.
Creator or Created: The Paradox of Free Will and Destiny.
Catchy.
I know, right? And it asks a really interesting question.
Okay.
Like, if we're the ones making our reality, y- y- why is there like bad stuff?
Yeah, why would we choose that?
Exactly.
Good question.
Yeah, and this video has some pretty wild ideas about it.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay, so like right off the bat, they talk about this thing called a soul contract.
A soul contract.
Yeah, basically, it's like our souls agree to go through certain things in life.
Before we're even born.
Exactly, like we sign up for it.
Right.
It's almost like a blueprint for our journey. And the person who made the video actually said they had a dream about a soul planning their life.
Really?
Yeah, and it made me think, have you ever felt like you were supposed to go through something?
You mean like even if it was hard?
Yeah, like maybe it was getting you ready for something bigger later on.
That's interesting.
So the video talks about this thing called a probability tree.
A probability tree.
Yeah, it's like a tree with all these different branches.
Okay.
And each branch is a different choice we can make.
I see.
But some branches, some like really important experiences might already be part of the plan.
So you're saying even if we're choosing our path, there's some things we're destined to experience.
That's what the video seems to be saying.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not like a simple this or that. It's
Right.
more like destiny and free will are both kind of working together.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the video really emphasizes that like the universe itself knows we have the power to choose.
Even if we don't always realize it.
Yeah, and like every thought, every action, it's creating something.
Whether we're aware of it or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that brings up a big question.
What is that?
What are we making without even knowing it through our thoughts and actions every day?
Right, because the universe doesn't care who you are. It just responds to what you're putting out there.
That's where the law of attraction comes in.
Oh, yeah.
That whole like attracts like thing.
Right.
The energy of our thoughts and beliefs is bringing matching experiences to us.
That makes sense.
And the video actually says you may not know the specific thoughts that made your current situation,
Uh-huh.
but you can be sure it was all you.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, right?
It is.
But do you think it's really all us?
You mean, like, what about things that happen that we can't control?
Exactly.
Well, that's where the subconscious mind comes in.
Okay.
The video is saying that our deepest beliefs, even the ones we don't realize we have,
Uh-huh.
are shaping our reality all the time.
So we might be creating things without even knowing it.
That's the idea, and it's like a reminder to think about our thoughts and beliefs.
Because they could be making things we don't actually want.
Exactly.
So if we want to change our experience, we need to start by looking inside right.
That seems to be the message.
And that leads us to acceptance and resistance.
Okay.
The video says they're really important for understanding suffering.
Interesting.
It says that when we resist what's happening, it just makes the pain worse.
And attracts more of the same.
Exactly. But accepting things.
Not like giving up.
Right. But acknowledging them without judging.
That can actually make the suffering less.
It's like when I fought against something that was happening, it just made everything worse.
Yeah.
Like trying to swim against the current instead of with it.
Makes sense.
And the video says that when we accept things,
We can start to find creative solutions.
yeah, they even say to approach tough situations with love and compassion.
That's a big shift in perspective.
Instead of seeing problems as things to avoid.
We could see them as chances to grow,
But how do we actually get to that place of acceptance?
especially when things are really hard.
I know the video talks about mastering the mind,
Right.
but that sounds really difficult.
It does.
So we've been talking about some pretty deep stuff, right?
Yeah, we have.
Free will, destiny, the power of our thoughts.
Right.
But what I think is really cool is that this isn't just like some theory.
Uh-huh.
It actually gives us a way to understand why things happen.
And how we can change them.
Exactly. It's like tools for making positive changes.
That's what this is all about, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
So where do we even start?
Big question.
I know our minds are like buzzing with thoughts all the time.
Thousands of them.
So how do we get a handle on all that?
Well, the video talks about mindfulness.
Yeah, but sometimes that stuff feels kind of woo-woo to me.
I get it, but it doesn't have to be like mystical or anything.
Okay.
It's just about Noticing your thoughts without judging them.
So like just watching them go by.
Exactly, like leaves floating on a stream.
Instead of getting swept up in them,
You create some space.
to just observe.
And in that space, you have a choice.
About which thoughts to pay attention to,
That's where you start to use your power.
instead of just reacting to every thought.
Right. You get to choose.
So it's not about like stopping our thoughts completely.
No.
It's more about deciding which ones we give power to.
And that connects back to the law of attraction.
If we're always thinking negative thoughts,
We're going to attract more negativity.
but honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm just not wired for positivity.
It's not about being positive all the time.
Okay.
It's about recognizing when you're stuck in a negative loop.
And then choosing to focus on something else.
Like, what's one thing you're grateful for right now?
That's a good point.
It's simple, but it works.
Like building a muscle.
You got to train your mind.
The video also talks about meditation. I know it's good for stress, but how does it help us create our reality?
Meditation is like a mental gym.
Okay.
It helps you focus, be clear-headed, and manage your emotions.
And with practice.
You can actually weaken those negative thought patterns.
And build up positive ones.
It's like weeding out the bad mental habits
And planting new seeds.
for a better inner world.
I like that metaphor.
But it brings up a question.
What's that?
How do we know what seeds to plant?
Yeah. How do we figure out what we actually want to create?
That's where self-reflection comes in.
Okay.
Taking time to think about your values, what you want to achieve, what brings you joy.
And it can change over time, right?
Exactly. We're not the same person forever.
So we're being mindful, meditating, reflecting on our values.
What else can we do to shape our reality?
The video mentions affirmations.
Oh, yeah.
But those sometimes feel a little cheesy to me.
They can be if they don't feel real to you.
Right.
But when you find ones that really resonate with you,
Uh-huh.
they can be powerful.
Okay.
It's about shifting your self-talk,
From negative to positive.
choosing to focus on what you want.
So it's not just repeating words.
No.
It's about feeling it, believing it.
And taking action that supports it.
So like if I want to be healthier.
Affirmations alone won't do it.
Right.
You got to eat healthy exercise, get enough sleep.
So our outer world needs to match our inner world.
That's the idea.
Makes me think about how much we just go through life on autopilot.
Reacting instead of creating.
But there's something I've been wondering about.
What's that?
The video focuses on our individual power to create,
Okay.
but what about everyone together?
You mean the collective?
Yeah, like if our thoughts are so powerful,
Uh-huh.
what happens when you multiply that by millions of people?
That's a really important question.
It's like we're not just shaping our own little reality,
We're all part of a bigger reality,
and the energy we put out affects everyone.
whether it's positive or negative.
It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is.
We're all connected in ways we don't even understand.
And our choices, our thoughts are all part of this big tapestry.
But doesn't that make it seem overwhelming?
How so?
Like, how can one person actually make a difference when there's so much going on in the world? I mean, it can feel that way, right?
It can.
But I think the point is that we're not totally helpless.
We do have some power.
Yeah, it's like with every thought, with every action, we're voting for the kind of world we want.
I like that voting for the world we want.
Yeah, so even like little changes,
Right.
like small shifts in how we think and act can cause a ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that butterfly effect thing.
Oh yeah, the butterfly flaps its wings.
And it causes a hurricane on the other side of the world.
We might not see the results right away.
But we're always creating something.
That's kind of exciting, but also a little scary.
It is a lot of responsibility.
It is, and it brings us back to like the main question here.
Yeah.
What are we creating with our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions?
What kind of world are we making right now altogether?
And like the video leaves us with this question.
Okay.
It says, if every thought is creating something, what are you unconsciously building right now?
That's a big one.
I know it makes you think.
It does.
It's easy to just get caught up in everyday life.
And forget how much power we have.
To shape our lives and the world,
It's like a wake-up call.
to become conscious creators.
To choose our thoughts and actions on purpose.
Not just for ourselves.
But for everyone.
So if we want a world with more love and fairness and peace,
It starts with each of us.
we have to be aware of our thoughts.
Choose to focus on the good stuff.
And do things that match our values.
It's a journey for sure.
Yeah, not like a one-time thing.
There will be bumps in the road.
Challenges, setbacks.
But even when things are crazy,
we can choose love.
choose kindness.
Choose to make things better.
It's pretty inspiring.
I know, even when there's so much negativity.
One person's positive energy can make a difference.
And when we remember, we're all connected.
Our thoughts and actions affect everyone.
It makes you want to step up.
And be a force for good.
For sure. And I think that's a good place to wrap up our deep dive for today.
It is, but hopefully this is just the start of your own exploration.
Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep creating the reality you want.
You got it.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
And until then, keep diving deep.